Alright guys, as we get set to head out here, I'm going to mention a name that may not mean much to any of y'all, but I'm hoping after I tell his story you'll understand why it does mean a little something to me. The man's name is Todd Standings. Let's dive into it.
Welcome to Rolling with T-Bone Presents Cryptids, UFOs, and Paranormal Stories. I hope that you enjoy.
Alright guys, welcome into a not really a subject driven episode of Rolling with T-Bone. Just kind of want to chat to you about a couple of things. And I've kind of been putting off shooting this video because you're going to hear this guy's name come up a lot, and I think that's why I wanted to go ahead and make this video. And of course the man I'm talking about is Todd Standings. Now, as I said, some of y'all may have never heard of Todd Standings. You may not have a clue who I'm talking about, but just a little background on Todd Standings. He was in the military where he served as a sniper. He was taught to track wildlife and big game. He spent time with I think it was the Cree Nation elders who kind of taught him and worked with him. But what makes Todd a little more interesting than just that is that Todd is the guy behind the documentary called Discovering Bigfoot, and it is a free watch on YouTube. Now, Todd became obsessed with not exposing Bigfoot, but with trying to get together enough evidence. Because if you remember a while back, and I'll say this before I go into his evidence, but if you remember a while back, I had made a video and I had talked about Canada just recognizing the Sasquatch as a species and making it a protected species. Now, Todd Standings was directly related to that. He was heavily involved in getting that passed, and so Todd doesn't want anything other than to just have people, have the government, as it were, recognize them, and hey, protect them. You know, let's protect them. They are, you know, they're out there. We need to protect them. Is kind of what Todd's, you know, his slant was on it. And Todd spent, now that documentary's been out for a while, and guys, I'm going to tell you, Todd has went through a lot of scrutiny for what he was trying to do, what he believes in, what he was hoping to accomplish by doing what he did. So when you look at it in that form of, you know, we talk about it over and over again, what's the upshot? You know, what's the benefit for something? When you hear Todd's story, other than just what he says about wanting them to become recognized as a species, there really isn't much upshot. I don't see that he's seeking fame. You know, certainly not looking for no 15 minutes of fame, as it were. But, you know, he's taking a lot of scrutiny. And I noticed it in the research that I've done on Todd Standings, which I have watched the it's either Finding Bigfoot or Discovering Bigfoot. I'll put the exact name of it up on the screen right here. I think it's Discovering Bigfoot. You know, this goes back to 10 years of his life in Slavic country on his own with just his cameras and stuff, taking time to build a rapport with this cryptid, meaning they are very habit driven in what they do. So he went in there, and over the course of years demonstrated his habits for them so they would know who he was, if that makes sense. So in his time of doing this, I noticed in the research that Todd really didn't start catching flack over what he was doing until he involved a couple of doctors, one of them being Dr. Jeff Meldrum. Now, Dr. Jeff Meldrum is a PhD. He has 3 degrees. He is a herpetologist, I believe it is, and he is a primatologist. And he just happens to be the guy who has studied more Bigfoot footprints than anybody else. So at the time that Todd got Dr. Meldrum involved in this expedition that he was doing, Jeff Meldrum would acknowledge that a real animal left the prints behind, but he was very skeptical to say that it was a Sasquatch. So what you had happen over this time that Dr. Meldrum spent with Todd Standings was that you slowly started seeing Dr. Meldrum's ideas and beliefs change. Meaning he was taking in everything around him, trying to find a logical explanation, coming up short on the logical explanation, and kind of having to look at all the evidence and, you know, at least entertain the idea that Sasquatch is real. And it wasn't until that Todd started getting flack. Now, what you got to understand, guys, about cryptids, and I know it's cool, we come here on Monday nights and I talk about cryptids, and I never try to get into the conspiracy theory stuff, and I'm not ever going to do that. But Todd Standings has given so much of himself to not even cryptozoology, but to Sasquatch, to this one cryptid. And man, I think it's just it's a travesty of how he's treated, you know, kind of ostracized, kind of shunned, and you know, it's not fair. I'll come out and say it, it's not fair. I mean, you know, and I think Todd is of the belief that I am. And Todd, if you ever see this, brother, I want you to know I'm going to tag you in it. If you ever see this, I want you to know that there are those of us out here who believe in what you're doing. And man, I hope you don't lose faith and just give up and quit. You know, to hell with the naysayers is kind of what I say. You got a good cause going, and I don't care what they're saying about you. I think what you've done is really important. But anyway, squirrel, I got off on something else. But once the scientific community started realizing that Dr. Meldrum and a couple other doctors and scientists were taking interest in the Sasquatch theory, or at least the belief that, hey, this could actually be a real creature, could actually be a real animal, could actually be a cryptid that's closer linked to us than we care to admit. Once the scientific community started seeing that these guys were taking interest in it, then they really started to try to do a smear campaign against Todd Standings, you know, trying to trip him up, trying to, you know, hoax. And guys, please go watch that video. Please go watch that documentary. I really, if I've ever recommended anything for y'all to watch that you've never really taken seriously, please go watch this documentary, because the video evidence that he has gotten, which I'm going to be showing in future episodes of Rolling with T-Bone, where I'm going to be covering Todd a little bit more. The still life, the way Todd has explained it to you as to what was going on, what was happening, you know, if you're a hard skeptic, I will say realistically, you'll probably come out maybe 85, 86, 87% surer than you were before. But just watch the watch the documentary, because if I can remember when I get home, I'll share the link. So if y'all will be seeing this video way after I share the link, but if you've seen the link to that pop up, I hope you watched it. And if you didn't, please give it a watch. I mean, it's one of those things where the guy's not trying to grandstand. He's not trying to get rich. He's not trying to convince me and you of anything. He's trying to convince the government of something. And as I started to say a minute ago, I think Todd kind of sees it the same way I do. And I think what Todd sees it, the way Todd sees it, the way I see it, and the way other people see it, is that short of killing one of these creatures, the video evidence that he brought through and everything, and the stills and the audio evidence should be enough. I mean, but of course, man is a vulgar beast, to just say the very least. Kill, kill, kill. That kill, kill, kill. That's, we got to kill, kill, kill. We're the apex predator. Short of killing one of these creatures, off of my own knowledge of what I've seen and what I've experienced, I'm certain they exist. I don't have no reason to doubt that at all. I know what I've been through and what I've seen. But it's hard for people who has never seen or heard anything, and they only go by what other people are reporting. I understand it's hard to believe. It really is. It's hard to say, yeah, okay, I'll take everything you believe and I'll believe you. I know it's hard to win people over. But, the point I'm trying to make is that once you get to a point to where, to me, and now this is just me, but to me, you get to a point that, the evidence, isn't the evidence a little overwhelming? Isn't the evidence a little too much in favor? Doesn't that much evidence kind of make it a little bit more undeniable than, perhaps the non-evidence would? So I have to ask myself that question. Outside of killing one of these, is there ever going to be enough evidence for people to believe? And I wish I had a solid answer to that question, guys. And I'm sure a lot of these guys like Todd Standings, and not just Todd Standings, but Bobo Fay and Moneymaker and all these folks out here who study Matt Moneymaker as, he's done everything but kill one to try to prove that they exist. And as frustrating as it is for me, a layman out here dealing with Sasquatch, I could really only imagine how frustrating it would actually be for those folks who have spent so many years of their life dedicated to trying to prove that it exists. And like I say, I wish there was a I wish there was a solid answer to that, but there's not. I mean, sadly, what it will take, and this is something years ago that I already kind of this is a conclusion I kind of came to on my own many years ago, is that short of killing one and, displaying its body out for the media to see and show it all over the world on television, it's going to be hard to prove just with the video, because, and I found myself, I'm guilty of it. I've seen videos where I thought, yeah, man, that's really too good to be true. It really is. But with Todd Standings videos, I don't get that sense that it's too good to be true. And like I said, guys, with Todd, they started a smear campaign against Todd. It was bad. I mean, I've seen comments that are bad. And I'm just going to go ahead and say this: if you clicked onto this video because you want to come onto my video and bash Todd Standing, your comment won't stay. I'll just remove it and block you. And because we're, you know, here on Rolling with T-Bone, we're about positivity. I want to keep my videos positive and informative to the best of my ability, and I just don't have no room for that negative nonsense. I just don't want to have it on my channel. So you go bash Todd on somebody else's channel, because I'm not going to put up with it. You know, and you know, with that said, you see how somebody gets treated like that, and then you think to yourself, why would they still want to be involved with it when they're being treated so horribly? And you know, we even said it after President Trump's loss in 2020. You know, when he decided he was going to run again, and we were like, why would he want to? Look how horribly he was treated. Why would he want to run for president again? The man was treated absolutely horrible. But within those individuals, and Todd Standing is certainly no different, there's a conviction in their heart for what they're doing. There is a need to not just protect them, but a need to get the people in power to at least recognize them. I mean, you know, that's you know, sometimes that's a feat in itself, just getting something recognized, you know, let alone getting it accepted. Just saying, you know, hey, at least recognize it. Can you do that? But man, I'll tell you guys, that's you know, it's one of those things. And you hear Todd's story, and again, I've watched a ton of stuff on Todd Standing, read a ton of stuff on Todd Standing, you know, and I keep coming back to the same question: what's the upshot? What's the benefit for him to do this? And you guys might study him just a little bit, or watch this and go, well, he was just searching for this, or this. That's what the benefit was. But I mean, really, guys, outside of just trying to get them, you know, protected and recognized, I don't really see what the rest of the benefit is. I mean, I know people have said he was glory searching, he was glory hogging, he was wanting to, you know, become famous and infamous and all these things he's been called. I think the guy just really kind of came out of that, all that stuff just misunderstood. But I'll tell you what, guys, I got to swing through town over here, Big Papa. I'm out on Big Papa, guys. I don't know if I even mentioned that in the opening of this episode, but I got to swing by over here, get a little love in for Papa. But y'all hang tight. Won't be but just a split second, and we'll continue on our conversation about Mr. Todd Standings. So you guys don't go nowhere. Alright, guys, so getting out of town here. You know, and then people probably wonder, so T-Bone, why does it matter about Todd Standings? Well, you know, the reason I had to shed my gloves, so I know some of y'all may not like that, but I could probably took you out with my fingerless gloves. But anyway, squirrel. It matters because short of killing one, in my mind, Todd Standings has done just about every viable thing that you can do to present a species short of killing it or capturing it alive. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I've seen videos out there where people, they've claimed to have captured, you know, live Bigfoots, and you know, I'm not so sure you can capture Bigfoot like that. I'm not sold on that one. I mean, yeah, I'd have to put a lot of belief in somebody's ability to track and trap, and you know, that'd be a hard trap there. I would figure. I mean, trapping a black bear is hard enough, you know, without a tranquilizer. And I'm not, and kind of that's the point, is I'm not so sure you could get close enough to a Sasquatch to tranquilize it to be able to trap it. So, but you know, why does it? you know, to me it matters because I think Todd has done a lifetime's worth of work there. I haven't never featured any of his videos in my stuff because when I start doing the Todd Standings videos, and probably the way I'm going to try to do it is I'm going to try to break down his documentary, but not by what he's talking about, but by the videos and the photos. There's a lot of time put and a lot of effort made to go out of his way to do something that he really doesn't have to do. And guys, the importance and the reality of that, just that by itself, isn't lost on me. Because, you know, when you believe in something and you know it's real and you're trying your best to get it documented so it can be protected, to me that goes farther past somebody just trying to prove that something exists for the sake of saying that, hey, this exists. To me, it goes farther than that. It goes to, hey, this exists, and if we are the quote-unquote apex predator, then shouldn't it be kind of up to us to make sure that they're protected? Not that I think they need our protection. I think that they do a good enough job of evading us and staying away from us and surviving and living. It's kind of one of them things where I don't see how we as man can really add much to their situation. If that makes sense. I don't see how they can benefit from us, is what I'm trying to get at. But yeah, guys, this is a shorter episode today. I kind of wanted to break the ice about Todd Standings on here and talk to you guys, and hopefully you guys go check out the Discovering Bigfoot documentary that he did, and draw your own conclusions. Don't take what I'm saying to heart. You know, watch it for yourself, draw your own conclusions from it. But man, I'll tell you guys, May the 16th is coming around the corner on us. Won't be much longer till we're meeting up and riding, and I know I'm hoping that our weather stays good. I'm hoping that we don't end up getting a bunch of BS weather. But, you know, you can't never tell. It's by that time, by May the 16th, we're starting to get to late spring, get close to early summer, and just like the transition from winter to spring, or from, you know, summer to fall, especially going from spring to winter, or I mean winter to spring and spring into summer, our weather can become so unpredictable. But I just hope it holds up for us and holds out for us. But we just have to wait and see, guys. But all right, I'm going to say that's an episode. I want to thank everybody for their continued support, liking and commenting and watching these videos. So guys, until the next time, y'all like, share, comment. Go check out a few of our videos. If you like what you see, maybe consider subscribing to the channel. But guys, y'all take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And hey, thanks for watching.